It's the holiday season, and most of us are out and about spending time with family and enjoying some time off work or school. I hope you've all had a wonderful holiday so far and are looking forward to the new year. Because of the busy schedule, I decided my video this week would be pretty low-key and short, and would be sort of open discussion. Hello and welcome to the Book Bin, or welcome back if you're a returning guest. I'm Conno Barlow, and this video is the first monthly writing and reading check-in. A part of my channel is operating as a sort of video diary of my writing and reading journey, and I figured I would take one Friday per month to talk about progress in my work and some of what I'm reading, and then open the comments up to you all to do the same. This is just casual and something I look forward to doing more often. Let's start with reading updates. I've been doing a bit of fun reading over the last few weeks. I try to read every night before bed, though sometimes I just take a few days off depending on energy levels or other stuff going on where I just need to get to bed. I finished the last Stormlight Archive book, Wind and Truth, a couple months ago, and I wanted to do something a little lighter before jumping into something heavy again, and I convinced my husband to read the Series of Unfortunate Events with me. We read together, or, well, I read out loud to him. He prefers audiobooks, whereas I need to read out loud, so it actually works out. I wanted to revisit some books from when I was a kid and see how they are now as an adult, so reading these books again after so long to someone who's never read them at all has been pretty fun. As of this video, we're wrapping up the Grim Grotto, and we'll be moving on to the Penultimate Peril. When I'm done, I may make a video of my entire thoughts on the books, but right now I'll just say that they're delightful and ridiculous, but in a way that's fun. A few things that haven't aged the best years down the line, but I still think it's pretty good. I forgot how wild the series gets in the second half. There's kind of a before the Vile Village and after the Vile Village for the series, and that book has a foot in both and is an accurate segue into a completely new energy for the series. So far my favorite characters are Sunny, Count Olaf himself, and Esme Squalor. I don't remember how well the movie or show depict them all, but I forgot how absolutely superhuman Sunny is, and she's just an insanely powerful character whenever she applies herself that is just so hilarious to me. And Count Olaf and Esme are just so funny in their villainy, I'm always laughing at their logic and dialogue. Overall, I'd probably give the series a 5 out of 10 for adults, probably a 6 or 7 out of 10 for kids. They're fun books for kids and provide a lot of interesting words to learn and concepts to imagine. It's a good, macabre children's story with a lot of adventure and even opportunities to learn things. And now on to the bulkier section, the writing updates. The project I'm working on right now is currently titled The Sun-Touched Sands, which may be prone to change in the future. Before I can fully explain where I'm at in the writing and how progress is going, I should probably explain what this story is and a little about it. The Sun-Touched Sands is a mythic fantasy that takes place in a desert world, and it's also a sort of dip into gay romantasy, I guess, though I think I'd probably categorize it more like a fantasy with a strong romance aspect. All the water in the world is in a celestial sea, a giant ocean floating high in the sky. Gravity fluctuates throughout the land, and these pockets of high and low gravity allow for water to make contact with the earth, and that's where life can grow. Stylistically, the world takes a few particular kinds of inspiration from our own world. The flora and fauna are a mix of aquatic life and insects, like the world has once been the ocean floor before it all moved up into the sky, and the major factions ruling the sands take inspiration from the Roman Empire or from the region in and around Iran. The main premise of the project follows Quill of Clan Khazrai, an Argentum spy, thief, and occasional assassin working for a gang called the Third Eyes. He's a magus with the skill of clairvoyance. An armistice opens the borders between the Imperium Solaris, the Roman-inspired imperial force in the sands that aims for total domination of the region, and the three kingdoms, the independent kingdoms Shamshetarana, Keshvar-az-Manaraha, and Zugal-Mazra'e, who have allied to protect themselves from the Imperium's conquest. As this occurs, Quill's gang receives a request from the king of Shamshetarana asking for their rare Argentum to come and take on a mission. It's there that he learns his task, to infiltrate the Imperial Palace and find the time and location of the next starfall from an Imperial concubine, Argentum Seer. The starfall is one of the rarest and most vital events to happen across the sands. Stars, a source of raw magic deep in the celestial sea, will sometimes fall out of the waters and land in the sands. Whoever finds a star can receive one impossible wish from it, and these wishes have been known to entirely alter the course of civilization on multiple occasions. There haven't even been a dozen starfalls, but their impact is so strong that people will fight and die to try to find one, and the Imperium is close to discovering where and when this next one is to plan for its capture. Quill uses his classic method to get the job done: don a disguise and be presented as a gift to the Emperor, who could never resist being given an Argentum Seer. He's married off as a reward to the Emperor's closest friend and advisor who lives in the Imperial Palace compound, and now he has his way in. But he has to find this concubine who is under strict lock and key. As he makes his way through the palace, navigating his own strict watchmen and new husband, Quill finds himself entangled with one of the palace guards, a Titan Kustos named Raheem. At first he flirts with Raheem to get an advantage against him, to use him to get more access. But Raheem's gentle nature and ability to see Quill as a person, not as a tool, catches Quill off guard, and soon they're tumbling into an affair that would scandalize the entire Imperium if discovered and to risk Quill's entire operation. Now that you know the basic idea of the story, let me share some of my progress on it with you all, and then maybe a little lore snippet. So, progress. Currently, I'm actually in the midst of doing some rewrites. I got a ways into my story, but then found I wasn't really satisfied with some of the details, threads, and scenes, and so I've been doing a complete rewrite. Many of the scenes are pretty similar, many are very different, and overall I'm enjoying it better. I also revamped my outline in the process, which is almost 50,000 words long, and now I'm almost caught up to where I was previously, so I'll be advancing in the story again soon. At this point, I'm at 78,826 words, which has been stagnant for a little while due to the rewrites, though it has increased a little as I've been adding a bit more detail from having a clearer vision. I don't know how long this book is going to be when the draft is complete, but I'm admittedly a bit nervous because I'm not even halfway through the story yet, and it's already that long. It's gonna be a battle to edit. A high to my current progress has been that I'm really enjoying a lot of the changes that I've made so far, and I'm looking forward to making more progress soon. A low to my current progress is I'm worried how much detail will need to be really scrutinized, as while I am done with the bulk of my world building, I still sometimes make little discoveries and changes based on those little discoveries while researching my inspired cultures. So I'll have to really be thorough in editing for consistency, and that makes me a little nervous with a text this big. Let me read you a snippet I recently wrote. Keep in mind, this is all my first draft and barely edited at all, as I tend to not really edit until I'm done with the entire work. In this section, Raheem is a guard of the entourage taking Quill back to the Imperial Palace. Quill is disguised as a delicatus named Latif, who is a gift during peace negotiations, an offering to the Emperor, as a means to get him into the palace. Raheem is breaking rules with his compassion by getting Quill and his friend Fingers to a well to fetch some water. They're supposed to stay in their tent, but they're thirsty. This scene is meant to set up Raheem and Quill's first interactions, to allow them to remember each other later on, especially for Quill to recognize Raheem's compassion for others' comfort and also their safety. Let me read you a little bit of action that I've cooked up for the moment. Raheem glanced and saw the Argentum, his body pressed against the stone pillar. He had an ear turned toward the sound of clicking, which came again from the clearing, though nothing could be seen. "Let me hence have a gaze," Raheem murmured. "Tarry here a while." His mind raced as he stepped around the pillar toward the edge of the platform, heart thundering in his chest as he tried to listen for the source of the clicking. A part of him urged for him to remain where he was and not leave his charges, but a part of him, curious or foolish, steeled itself, determined to discover the source of the noise. As he stepped down onto the grass, he strained his ear to listen for the clicking, and for a moment, a brief moment, he realized it had stopped. The quiet did not last long. Before Raheem could even draw a breath to shout, the clicking returned and became rapid, as if its source had entered a frenzy. It darted through the clearing, zigzagging left and right, twisting, and yet Raheem could see no beast, no man, until his eyes saw the mound of dirt and sand rumbling forward like a wave. The sand burst in a cloud of debris as he flinched back, and as the shout finally came from him, shining carapace flashed in the monochrome night as a massive beast, as big as Raheem, launched at him, knocking him down to the ground. Sharp, spiny legs pierced the ground, pinning Raheem as the insect screeched, spittle flying from pincers that snapped in the air. Droplets of spit flecked across his chest, and he hissed and cursed as it burned, simmering against his flesh as though liquid flame had touched his skin. The pincer snapped in the air again, and then it crashed down just as Raheem dragged his shield up over his face. The beast crashed against the shield with an ear-splitting crack, and its pincers scraped against the metal as it howled and squealed in anger. And with that little excerpt out of the way, let me share a bit of lore before we close out. The best place to start, I think, would be sharing information about the people. You've heard me mention Argentum, Titan, and others. I'll share the overview, then dive into the first type in more detail. Basically, all the people in the world are made of metal. There are different types of metal, and there's some that don't appear in this region, so I won't be covering those. The metals in this part of the world that are the focus of the story are the ora, gold, the argenta, silver, stana, tin, the cobalta, cobalt, the cupra, copper, the titani, titanium, the ferra, iron, the plumba, lead, the aluminia, aluminum, the lithoi, lithium, and the hydrargyra, mercury. There are also several alloys, the children of two metals, who are classified as legatio metallica. A few examples of those are the electra, the stenea, the momenta nicti, and the aurum rosata, though there are more. Legatio metallica only receive a special classification if they have magic, which I'll talk more about in a future video. Okay, so first and foremost, we should cover the Aura and who they are. The Aura, the people of gold, are a smaller population in the sands, but rule with strength and power. One of the first starfalls landed in the possession of an Aurum man named Caelius the Golden, who wished for the legends of magic that his people once possessed to return to the people of the sands, as magic had existed long ago, but was not genetic and did not pass down to offspring. The wish granted the Aura two abilities. The first is that they gained their ability to utilize supernatural levels of heat instantaneously, so hot it can melt any metal with a touch. In addition, the very seed of magic now flows through aura veins, and their blood alone can create magi. These two magics allowed the aura to quickly gain control over the sands. With their ability of heat, they subjugated their neighbors and protected themselves, as they were the only ones born naturally with magic while all others were not. With their magic blood, they were able to negotiate and bribe even more people into further subjugation, for a magi can only be born with gold blood. You see, all aura are born magic, but the only way for a child of another metal to develop magic is if their mother ingests gold blood while pregnant. This practice is extremely dangerous, as gold blood is so hot it risks melting the mother and child before the magic can be absorbed and used. But it's a cost that all metals are willing to risk if it means they can gain an advantage in life for their family. These magics did not come without a cost, however, as all magic can be dangerous. The Aura quickly discovered that they could not simply use their supernatural heat freely, for if it burned too hot for too long, their own insides would begin to melt and they would die. They also learned the dangers of their blood's magic. It cannot regenerate. If one gives their blood too quickly and too freely, they will become ill and eventually die from blood loss. Because of this, it's common to see elderly Aura choose to die by performing blood transfusions so the younger Aura can be reinvigorated. The Aura worship the god Solarius. While there are many depictions of him in their culture, his form is actually known as their sun. All planetary bodies, which are known as seraphic bodies, dwell in the celestial sea, sinking and rising to the surface. The moon and sun rise and sink on a regular cycle, while other seraphic bodies come and go to mark the months. Solarius invigorates the Aura, whose magic is more powerful during the day, and they believe he is the king of the gods, whose seraphic bodies, their sleeping forms, float in the sea, awaiting to be awakened when the sands are under Solarius' dominion. Well, that's all I really have for you today. I hope you found what I'm working on interesting. I'd love to hear about your own progress and works in the comments. Please feel free to share anything about writing or reading you're working on. If you have any questions about my current project too, please feel free to comment and I'll do my best to answer you. I also have a Tumblr, which I can link in the description, where you can ask me questions. I don't look like I'm active on there, but I do check it regularly. I'm just bad at posting. Well, thanks so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please feel free to like, subscribe, hype, whatever suits your fancy. And I look forward to seeing you around the book bin in the future.